Over 800 years ago, in 1206, Saint Dominic de Guzman, a Spanish priest, began his work of preaching by founding a group of women to pray for the mission of bringing Christ's light to places where there was darkness. These first nuns were the beginning of the Dominican family. 10 years later, he founded the Dominican friars, who always depended on the prayers of their sisters to support them in their mission. They called these early communities of nuns and friars the Holy Preaching. The Dominican order continued to grow. Dominican nuns, Dominican friars, Dominican sisters, and Dominican laity, with foundations all over the world. And in August 1850, a Belgian nun, Mary Gomer, came from a monastery in France and sailed to New York with the new Bishop of California, Joseph Alemany, a Dominican friar, another Dominican friar, Sarac Villarasa, and 2 French Dominican postulants. After Bishop Alemany took the 2 postulants to Ohio, the 3 Dominicans headed west for California. The way was rugged and full of hardships as the sisters traversed the Isthmus of Panama by the Las Cruces Trail. They finally arrived in San Francisco, California, on December 6th, 1850. Sister Mary and the sisters taught Sunday school there. A month after Sister Mary's arrival, she welcomed into the community Concepcion Arguello, the 60-year-old daughter of a former Spanish governor of California. She had been engaged to a Russian chamberlain who died before he was able to return to marry her. In the spring of 1851, Sister Mary and her companions traveled by boat to Monterey, where she and Concepcion started the first Catholic school in California. It was named Santa Catalina, which is Spanish for Saint Catherine, a Dominican saint from the 13th century. This was the beginning of the mission of our Congregation of Dominican Sisters. In 1854, when the Dominican friars moved their novitiate from Monterey to Benicia, a city on the bay considered a hub of commerce, the sisters closed their school in Monterey at the request of the Dominican friars, and moved by barge up the Pacific coast through the bay to Benicia, where they started St. Catherine's Academy. This new foundation turned out to be a stepping stone to others. St. Rose Academy was founded in San Francisco in 1862, and in 1868 the sisters were called forth to staff St. Vincent's Orphanage for Boys near San Rafael. As the city of Vallejo grew, the sisters began the parish school at St. Vincent Ferrer Parish. They later opened St. Vincent High School in 1870. The sisters' ministries moved beyond the Bay Area in the 1870s and beyond education somewhat later. In 1876, the sisters began teaching in Stockton at St. Agnes Academy and teaching nurses for their new fledgling hospital, St. Joseph's Hospital, in 1899. The growth of St. Joseph's Hospital, originally an old men's home and today known as St. Joseph's Medical Center, was due to the determination, care, and commitment of sisters working with the people of Stockton. Similarly, the sisters took over St. Mary's School in the late 1800s and St. Mary's Hospital in Reno in 1912, which is now known as St. Mary's Regional Medical Center. Over the years, the sisters staffed several Catholic schools in Reno and provided catechetical services to outlying regions. St. Catherine's, the school in Benicia, which at first had flourished, gradually declined after the gold mines closed, and commerce and business shifted to San Francisco. Moreover, the state capital had been moved to Sacramento in 1854. So it was that in 1887, Mother Louis O'Donnell, recognizing the limitations of the congregation's location in Benicia, no longer the capital nor hub of trade and business, chose to move the sisters to San Rafael. With tremendous faith, generous donations, and pledges of financial support, Mother Louis arranged for the building of Dominican College of San Rafael, including the convent, novitiate, and a boarding school for elementary and secondary education for girls. No longer owned or operated by the Dominican Sisters, the college is now known as Dominican University of California. Sisters are still active on the board, the faculty, and in campus ministry. As to Dominican lower and upper schools, in 1965, these schools were relocated to San Anselmo. It is known today as San Domenico, due to the vision of Sister Maurice Powers. Since 1889, the dramatic Victorian four-storied mother house was an icon of the Dominican Sisters of San Rafael for the residents of Marin County. That building burned in 1990 and was replaced by 3 convents, an administration center, and gathering space on the same site. In addition to the places already mentioned, our sisters were asked in the late 19th and early 20th centuries to staff and administer many parish schools and high schools in California and Nevada. Since the 1970s, our ministries have extended beyond education and healthcare into other areas such as parish work, psychology, social services, missionary work, parish and diocesan administration, theology, canon law, social justice promotion, preaching, and spirituality. While it is true that women have many more varieties of opportunities for service than was available in 1850, God still calls women, as God called Mother Mary Gomer 160 years ago, to serve God's people as a Dominican sister. Women still hear and answer the call to be prophetic witnesses to the presence of Christ in the world in the tradition of Dominic and the first women he called to the holy preaching 800 years ago.
We are people of the holy preaching, who proclaim the truth in love, companions of